Could it work?
Well, I don't know enough about satellites. Certainly, we can send the laser beam and we could send a reboot signal. And so why we have to turn off the other part, I don't know. But obviously, yes, you can send a laser light if there's a turn off switch because you get too much power. You could do that too, yes.
What do you think about these 4 guys and 1 lady?
Very clever for high school people to be figuring these things out, yes.
And they love the laser. They
Good.
love the. They love
I
the.
do too, absolutely. That's right. You can't send regular light. It spreads too much. It's a laser beam. Now, of course, you can't also send a laser pointer out. It starts at too small a beam, so it would become too big by the time it got to a satellite. But
So when you just watch it, and I understand that this is the very first time when you learn about this project. So what would you think is the critical part for the laser? How to choose the correct laser to do this?
that's right. So people right now are thinking about like quantum communications with satellites. In fact, I'm reading a thesis right now about that because I'll have to test them when I get back. And so just, you don't realize because it looks like air is clear, but of course there are absorption lines all the way along. And so you have to pick a line that does not get absorbed by things like CO2 and oxygen and nitrogen and water. And so you have to have exactly the right wavelength that you send. And the other big thing to think about is what size of telescope do you need? Because the smaller the beam starts, the faster it spreads into space. It's became too big to be useful out there. So these are the 2 main things you have to think about.
How powerful these pulses need to be?
They don't need to be very powerful because, again, you're just talking about a communications link, and obviously quantum communications only want single pulse or single photons. So that's very weak. So no, it doesn't have to be hugely powerful.
So we would not need a giant laser.
Not for that. You know, Gerard will talk about using them to push dead satellites out of their orbit so that they decay away. That would require more energy, but then I don't know that it needs to be a short pulse, so you might as well just use energy and not necessarily a really short pulse.
Some of the lasers, or let's say concerning the power of the laser, I mean, that are right now placed in LA beamlines would be sufficient?
I think to push something out of, yes.